How's it going out there? Rooster in 10, roostercb.com, and this was initially going to be a video testing this amp and putting it up for sale for you guys, but I guess this can be a learning experience video and maybe a little bit of a comedic video for you guys, something you guys can laugh at a little bit. Palomar Power Deluxe 35A. I've done several videos on these. Just a super killer amp from back in the day. 350 to 500 watts typically, PEP, 4 1446s or 4 455s. Just depends on the model that you get. They've named them several different things: Boomer 500, Superstar 550, you name it. They've put all kinds of different stuff on the front of them. But what they are is they have a power supply on one side and an amplifier on the other. And yes, that's exactly what this is. It looks like a Palomar 400 turned up on its side. And that's basically what it is. This is essentially a Palomar 400 amp over here. And then you have a 35 amp power supply over here. Now, contrary to some people's rumors or whatever these weird ideas people get in their head, I've heard people say this before, and I don't know where they get this from. This thing only has a 35 amp power supply in it. It doesn't have a 35 amp power supply, power in this side, and then it doesn't have, I've heard this, this is what I've heard. People say, oh, that thing's got two power supplies in it. It's got 35 amps just to the front, and then it's got 50 amps over here on the left. No, that could not be farther from the truth. It's got 35 amps total inside the whole thing. So when you hook a radio up to the front of this, your amplifier is now sharing the power supply with your radio, which is why I don't really recommend doing that. Now, if you're running a little, pissy weak radio, that's fine. But, people that usually do that long term end up having trouble out of this amplifier. They'll blow the rectifiers in the power supply section. That's usually what goes wrong. And then, the worst thing that can happen is a bad transformer. But we're not going to be doing a test video on this one this morning. I've been doing some videos and trying to get some equipment rounded up to get on the website. But we'll not be doing a video on this one because when I initially hooked it up, I noticed wouldn't power on. Now it's unhooked now for safety reasons, which we'll get into here in a second. Wouldn't power on, so I'm like, okay, what the heck's going on with this thing? All right, well, I check it, no fuse in the back, and the fuse holder's missing. So I rummaged through the dungeon back here trying to find a fuse holder that would fit, and did not have any luck trying to find one to fit. And so I turned it, it was in the off position, I think, then I turned it off. Obviously, it didn't matter because it wasn't powering up. But I did have it plugged in to the 110 volt outlet there. Well, let me tell you guys, this is not something I typically look at as a dangerous amp, but this thing gave me a little bit of a rude awakening this morning. I grabbed a hold of this thing to move it forward to take the coax out of it, and let me tell you guys something. When I did, this thing knocked the hell out of me, and it's been a little while since I've had an encounter with any kind of electricity, whether that be high voltage or 110, 220, whatever. It's been a little while, so this was definitely a refresher for me. Now you're probably thinking, well, how did that thing shock you? It's a 12 volt power supply inside of it. It's solid state. It doesn't have any kind of high voltage. Well, let me tell you guys something I didn't even think about and don't think about typically when I'm dealing in this used radio equipment. But I promise you I will going forward. And we'll show you guys what happened. We can pull the camera over here where you guys can see. And this is the culprit right here. Look at that. Never even noticed it when I plugged it up. Wasn't paying attention. And I'm guessing when I moved this thing, it brushed up against this heat sink like this. And let me tell you, it took me for a ride. This thing, some sparks flew out of it, and maybe some sparks flew out of me too. It knocked the piss out of me. Obviously, not deadly or anything, but it did not feel good. And I don't know whether it blistered my finger or if I cut myself on the heat sink when it did it, but it left a little bit of a scratch on me here. So Lesson learned, okay? When I'm buying this stuff, a lot of times I buy this radio equipment. It could be 10 pieces at a time. It could be 50 to 100 pieces at a time. When I'm buying this stuff, I don't go over it with a fine tooth comb. And the guy that I bought this from, I do a lot of business with him. Um, yes, he's burnt my ass on some radio equipment, but I've also made some good money off of him and made some good deals. He's a wheeler and dealer, a trader. He is somebody that I consider a friend. He's helped me out and stuff, and he actually gave me a Great Pyrenees dog here a while back. So the dog he gave me is probably made up for all the bad deals I've got, and I get a lot of good deals off of him too. But a lot of times he buys this stuff. He doesn't check it out. He just goes off somebody's word, and then he flips it to me. And I'm sure this is one that fell into that category. Doesn't make me feel much better about it at the time that it happened. When this thing hit me, I immediately, if he was standing here in front of me, I could have choked the life out of him. But anyway, it's funny now looking back at it. But something to be aware of, guys. Like, I know most people are always really cautious with like steel tube amps and sweep tube amps because of the high voltage that's in them and because of the age. That's something that you see more common with them. But I promise you, from now on, before I hook up a bass amp, I'm going to run my hand down the power cord and be looking for frays in it. Okay, this caught me off guard. I don't even want to touch it. It's unplugged now, and I still don't want to touch it. This caught me off guard. I was not expecting this, but immediately after it hit me, I knew what was going on. I mean, I knew that it probably had a fray in the power cord, and that's what got a hold of me. So, just because it's not a tube amp doesn't mean you can't get some electricity off of it, okay? Just something to be aware of, something for you guys to check out. And like I said, just a little story for your entertainment purposes this morning. What we'll end up doing with this one, probably end up replacing the cord on it and get a new fuse holder and stuff like that, and then check it out. And hopefully it runs good. Hopefully there's nothing else going on with it. A little bit leery since it didn't have a fuse holder in it, which makes me think that it's probably knocked the piss out of somebody before, and that's why it didn't have a fuse holder in it, okay? Just something to think about. There's probably a reason that the fuse holder was out of it. I'm sure it's probably lit somebody up before, and they thought, oh, hell, that ain't going to happen again. I'm going to take the fuse holder out. But anyway, guys, that's it. Just a little story for you. Power Deluxe 35A. Typically a very safe, very good amp. But if you grab a hold of a frayed power cord or a frayed power cord bumps up against it, it will knock the piss out of you. All right. See you guys. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.